Welcome to Adventures in Life. I'm Earl Beecher, your host. Our guest is Pat Hennessy, who's been kind enough to open the show. What was the name of the number you played?
It's called Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yes.
Why did you call it Mississippi?
Mississippi.
It's an original that you wrote yourself, isn't
Yes,
it?
I wrote it myself. It conjures up imagery of the Mississippi Delta. I'm using a slide, a metal slide to play, and it's.
So that's the thing that you had on the finger there. That would.
Yes, and it's, you know, it just has that Southern Delta style to it.
Now, Pat, I just met you recently because I've been doing some radio shows with a wild man by the name of Bob Brennan, and he says, "You got to hear this guy, Earl. You got to hear this guy." And he brought over your CD, which I understand is this new release that you have. And I listened to it, and I said, yes, and I'd like my viewers to see you in action.
Well, thank you.
So you have written most of the songs in the CD yourself.
8 out of the 10 of them.
8 out of the 10.
Mm-hmm.
And Mississippi, what's the difference between a blues guitar, a jazz, a rock? There's different guitar styles. Are they different instruments or
No,
just
it's all
styles?
the same instrument, but it's just a different approach to the way you play it, and different tones that you can get out of your amplifier. Jazz is usually really clean guitar, no distortion at all, where rock would be more distorted. And
that's what they call heavy metal.
Yeah, well, heavy metal would be the extreme part of rock, way
real distortion.
Yeah, but blues can go both ways. It can be clean, and it can have a little bit of dirty. Not usually real dirty, but and I explore all the different realms of blues on
I think
this
there'll be
album.
examples of it in what you're playing for us today.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, on this blues, when I think of a blues guitar, I think of something that floats much higher. It stands out from the rest more than a jazz or a rock.
Or pop. Yeah, when a lot of times the guitar takes that central focus in blues. Now, there's been a lot of great blues guitarists, and it's probably the main instrument of blues, so that, yes, there's a lot of call and response where the singer will sing and then the guitar will answer. You know, sometimes it's a singer and a separate guitarist. In my case, I do both, so it's kind of like I get to play against myself.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's way fun.
Now, you often appear, especially around Orange County, California, but you're going to Hawaii, or you're on tour.
Yeah.
And you play with a group or mostly by yourself?
Well,
what?
Most of the time, I do two things. This is the Pat Hennessy band that did this album, which is just a 3-piece band with a bass player and a drummer. And but you know, I also work around town with my sister when I stay in town, and that's a cover band that's doing you know, not my original music, just doing a wide assortment of
and your
cover music.
sister's name?
My sister's Jill Hennessy, and she's the singer, and we both sing, and we have also a drummer that sings.
We'll have to get her in the studio sometime to see you doing it together.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for us now?
The next song is 69 Bonnie.
Now, is this Bonnie here
That's
on
Bonnie
the cover?
right there. It's a 1969 Triumph Bonneville motorcycle, and I'm a vintage motorcycle freak, as it were, and you know, this is my baby right here. So the first song I wrote on the album, actually, I wrote about my motorcycle.
And this one's quite up-tempo.
Yes, it is. It's a cooker.
Let's listen to Pat Hennessy playing 69 Bonnie.
I reached out to touch her, it felt so right. That's when I knew it was a love at first sight. There's only good things right from the start. When we're together, you can feel the spark. Me and her really got this thing. When I give her the gas, it really makes her sing. said. We never argue, she never talked back. That's the way I like it, and I like it like that. Now I'm the every guy in town. Stop and stare when we come around. They have to admit she ain't like the rest. When it comes to my body, she's the best. I wanna take a ride on my 69 Bonnie. I wanna take a ride on my 69 Bonnie. I wanna go cruising down an open road. Custom stock, she's been a time or two around the block. We'll do a cartoon till they're all just right. One touch of the throttle and I'm out of sight. A running straight pops that makes her purr. Hogging the road as she comes on the curb. And they have to admit she ain't like the rest. When it comes to my body, she's the best. I wanna take a ride on my 69 Bonnie. I wanna take a ride on my 69 Bonnie. I wanna go cruising down an open road. I wanna take a ride on my 69 Bonnie. I wanna take a ride on my 69 Bonnie. I wanna go cruising down an open road. Oh, here we go.
Our guest is Pat Hennessy, blues guitar man. And this is your guitar sitting right here, Pat.
Yeah.
And then you get that, the slide is what identifies the blues somewhat?
No, the slide's just one facet of playing the blues. That's just standard, you know, blues, most blues playing has that particular kind of sound. It actually comes technically from the blues scale, which is derived from the minor scale. And that's really kind of what gives the blues its sound, is that mixture of minor on top of major.
Okay, I think I understand.
Yeah, well, it's in particular taking the minor third and the minor seventh and interjecting it into the major key.
Quite often.
Yes, quite often.
Now, you are a musician, and this is what you do full time. Tell me, how did you get started?
Oh gosh, I got, just as a kid, I just fell in love with the sound of a guitar, and got it for a Christmas present when I was 12 years old. In fact, my brother was 10, and he got a drum set, I got a guitar, and we both started together, which was kind of neat because all our early bands, we got to play together, and every day coming home from school, even if I didn't have anybody else, I had my brother. We could play the two of us together. I really think it was instrumental in me getting a good, strong sense of timing, too.
Now, is he a musician now?
Yeah, he's still playing drums, but he lives in New Zealand.
Oh, that's a long ways away.
A long way.
Where did you come here from?
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh.
Chuck Berry country.
Oh, Chuck Berry, okay. Is he one of your idols?
Not so much. That was a little bit before my time. I liked, you know, growing up, I liked the early kind of heavy blues bands like Cream and Jimi Hendrix and later, and Led Zeppelin, of course. And those are all really rock bands, but with heavy blues influence.
They have the blues scale or something
Yeah.
in there.
So my first influence was that rock blues influence, and I just...
Well, you actually don't just play strictly blues. You're into several styles.
Oh, yeah. It's just comes from playing a long time and just being exposed to so many kinds of music, especially being in cover bands when you have to cover a lot of different kinds of music. You get exposed to that, and So I think the blues side of me is my first love, but I do a lot of other stuff.
Well, 69 Bonnie got close to rock, didn't it?
Yeah. It's
I like that. It was up-tempo and hard driving.
Kind of crossover.
What are you going to do for us now?
Next song is Hurricane, which is kind of playing words on the weather, and but talking to a woman at the same time. And it's really straight blues, straight blues, naked, really naked, just guitar, bass, and drums with no overdubs. Just you hear everything. You know?
All the blues devotees will
Yes.
love this one.
Yes.
All right, let's listen to Pat Hennessy play Hurricane.
I'm a hurricane for you, hun. I'm gonna sweep you right off your feet. Well, I'm one hell of a hurricane. I'm gonna sweep you right off your feet. Know it hits you, babe, but it's a feeling you wanna keep. I'm a tornado for you. I'm gonna turn your whole world upside down. Twist a little sister. I'm gonna spin your head around. You better hold on real tight, 'cause if you let go, you won't be found. For you, come on, just hold on to me tight. Well, I'm a cyclone for you, little girl. Come inside, there's no need to fight.
Our guest is Pat Hennessy. Pat, where can people see you? What are some of the clubs that you frequently appear at here in Southern California?
I play a couple clubs in Huntington Beach, Perks, which is right downtown on Main Street. I play a club called Tumbleweeds. That's on Beach Boulevard. Also, Centerfield is on Beach Boulevard. So, and a place called the Loose Moose that's in Anaheim. These are gigs
You're
that I
around
play.
a lot of different clubs. Speaking of Huntington Beach, you were just featured in a major magazine article, weren't you?
Yeah, it's a magazine called Going Coastal, which is a Huntington Beach magazine. Pretty neat magazine. It's only been out probably a year and a half or so, but yeah, it was a really good article.
Yeah, Bob mentioned that to me. One of the first things he says, Earl, you've got to be aware of what's going on right here in my hometown, you know. And you appear often with your sister Jill.
Yes, the name of that band's Naughty Face. So we play,
Naughty Face.
Yeah, Naughty Face. And I play some of those clubs with my band, the Pat Hennessy Band, and often with a Naughty Face.
And so people could be watching for either name.
Either name, yes.
Yes. What are you going to close the show with? Tell us about.
The last song is a real sweet, pretty, slow tempo song, very clean guitar. It's called Desiree. It kind of conjures up, you know, it's a little bit like one of my favorite songs of all time, Little Wing, which was by Jimi Hendrix. But it's that same kind of mood.
So, and what do you mean is sweet and clean?
Well, the guitar doesn't ever get distorted. It's just a very clean guitar, very glassy sounding on the top, and it's still very, very naked. You know, there's just bass, guitar, and drums, and I have some reverb on the guitar, and it's very sweet sounding.
All right. We certainly want to thank you for being our guest on Adventures in Life. It's been a pleasure.
It has
the
been
way
my
this
pleasure.
hand can move and everything. And we want to thank our viewers for joining us also. And please join us soon again for more Adventures in Life.
Thank